Welcome to Vsb News Online for Wednesday, May the 6th. I'm Charles Webb. With municipality elections opening tomorrow, Hamilton mayoral candidate Charles Goslin sees the need to get the city back in safe hands. Under his stewardship, he believes plans for an hotel in Parlerville should be put on the back burner. Asked about his strengths with the business or residential voters, he says he has strengths in both.
With the residential vote in the previous election, I did not lose by that great an amount. And I think that given the experience that the community has had for the last 3 years, that I would have picked up a lot of those votes who really want to see the city get back into safe hands, of it being run properly, of it there being a much better working relationship with government.
Mm-hmm. Now, in getting the city back, what do you see as job one?
Job one is really to find out what the financial status of the corporation is. I can make all sorts of promises of great capital projects that we're going to be doing, of repaving this, of doing whatever. But if we haven't got the money to do it, then all of those promises are for naught. I have made the promise that we are going to have a report on the financial status, a report back to the community within 90 days of having taken office, and from there we're going to determine the way forward. A lot of things need to be fixed. The whole issue of governance being a major one. The relationship with government is again a major one. Removing intimidation from the workforce is a big one. All of those things really aren't going to be costing us a lot of money, and will at least be giving us a forward movement.
What do you feel that you can bring to the residents of the city?
Well, I know that they have seen a couple of really nice improvements. The one in Princess Street, in the middle of empty houses and stuff, has been very nice for the 2 or 3 people who actually live on that street. The development on Ewing is phenomenal. I would love to know what the cost of that project is. It'll be really an icon for North Hamilton. At what expense? But what I would like to do is with a better planning process and working with things like organizations like the Bermuda Housing Corporation, of trying to really to beautify and improve the particular areas within the city, but not just of just let's do the streets and leave it like that. We got to do the streets, but we've got to do the surrounding buildings as well.
Your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10, where is that?
I'm fairly confident. I would let's give me an 8.
Going up against former Hamilton Mayor Charles Goslin in tomorrow's mayoral election will be former Alderman Carlton Simmons, who served with Team Hamilton and had a grandstand seat to his 3-year reign. He thinks he would make a better leader than he was a follower.
I think the people that know me best understand that this is the type of thing that I was built for. My reputation for the people that know me as a person who's take something and turn it from nothing and turn it into something. If I've renovated 3 derelict buildings in my side of town and turned them into gems of places, that is my legacy. That's what I do. So I'm not afraid of the state of the corporation of Hamilton. I think if anybody is suited to get it where it needs to be, it would be me. I know the corporation from an employee's perspective, from a council's perspective, and I want to use that experience as mayor to bring the corporation to what I've seen as a long-term resident back to its glory days.
Now, whatever happens, there are now several people who are already elected by acclamation, so it's a new team, however you look at it. Are you prepared with the challenge of running a new team?
Absolutely. I think I'm a natural-born leader. I understand some of the things that is necessary to bring people together, including dialogue and accepting that there will be differences, and has to be a give and take. Pick your battles. I'm looking forward to working with whoever ends up being on the team, and I think that we're going to be able to do great things, because I'm certain the leadership, the leader, the mayor has to take charge. And I think if you have a competent and a credible mayor, then everybody else will fall in place.
Were there moments during the last 3 years when you wanted to throw your hat in the air and leave?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be telling the truth if that wasn't the case. But I'm not a quitter, and that's one of the reasons why I did not walk away. I'm not a quitter. I signed on for 3 years, and I was determined to see it through. Although there were times where I felt like, my views weren't being heard or the advice that was given wasn't being heeded, I stayed on board to make sure that I showed to the people who elected me, and as well as to myself, that I can handle the pressure and I will stick through. And I would do the same in this circumstance as well.
Now, you probably are counting on the ground support, the root support of this place.
I'm counting on everybody. I'm not taking anything for granted. For those businesses who I haven't had the opportunity to meet and talk with personally, I'm asking you, if you got the information that I sent you, if you have followed the media and some of the things that I've said over on air and in the paper, to give me the opportunity to show this country what one of the sons of the soil can do for them. I'm not part of the old guard. I'm a new generation of hopefully what I think will be new leadership in this country. And I'm saying that I don't think it's too soon to start. I think now will be the time.
3 primary student participants in the Government House Schools Garden program today planted a princess palm in Government House grounds in honor of Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, the new baby born to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Seth Martin of West Pembroke, Shazari Burrows of Northlands, and Victor Scott student Ronnie Gosman Perez assisted the Governor, George Ferguson, in the ceremonial planting.
We've invited them, representing their schools, to plant this tree for Princess Charlotte, and they've just done a fantastic job of planting. We have to get them to plant more trees here, I think. But thank you very much for doing that for us. And this tree will be here for a very, very long time, and will have your name on the plaque.
Shadow Minister of Workforce Development, Ralph Comisiong, has commended the America's Cup Executive Authority for its stated commitment to the community outreach programs such as STEM lessons and sailing. Brian Darby has the statement.
Mr. Commission said he commended the America's Cup Bermuda and the America's Cup Executive Authority on their stated commitment to community outreach and the empowerment of the young people. The recent announcement by the chairman of the ACBDA, Mr. Peter Jurhaga, that the America's Cup Community Outreach Program will include initiatives such as science, technology, engineering and maths, the STEM program, along with sailing and community outreach classrooms, is, he said, a reflection of that commitment. He urged Bermudian families to encourage their children to get involved in the America's Cup and facilitate their participation, as this represents a golden opportunity for them from a development standpoint. He also urged the ACBDA to ensure that underserved communities throughout Bermuda are part of their community outreach, as their efforts should reflect the rich diversity that is Bermuda. The Progressive Labour Party has consistently sounded the clarion call for STEM-based learning to take place at all levels of the education system, as they believe that it would only enhance global competitiveness. He also strongly recommended that the private sector play its role in tandem with the education system in facilitating STEM learning and related training initiatives in order to enhance the overall workplace development of Bermuda. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
Having spent 30 years in the Bermuda nursing profession, most of it in acute care and emergency services, Nurse of the Year Kathy Ann Swan is finally enjoying the heartfelt admiration of her colleagues. But it is what she has been doing more recently as Director of Education at the Bermuda College that has given the dedicated Bermudan even greater pleasure. She talked about the nursing training at the college that will see 8 Bermudians graduate later this month.
The whole objective is to increase the number of Bermudian nurses, particularly direct care nurses. We're giving them an opportunity to enter nursing, and then after they finish with us, they go online and continue the studies as well. Of course, nursing education and nursing itself is lifelong. You have to continue not just to the bachelor's degree, but to the master's, doctorate. We need them as well.
But you've got 8 people now about to graduate. Are they special because they're the first?
Oh, absolutely. I just thank them for having faith in the program, coming and attending the program, and of course doing well. I also have to thank the nursing lecturers and the clinical instructors that have been involved. They've done a great job to bring it together. So I've done a small part. It's them, the nursing faculty and the clinical instructors that oversee the actual education part. That's you have to give the kudos to.
Do you miss the hands-on side?
I do. I love that contact. I'm a people person. I still do that part just to keep my hands in nursing. I'm blessed to keep my registration with the Bermuda Nursing Council by doing hours at Westmeath as an on-call nurse. So I do have that. So I have the balance of both. So I enjoy that.
That's lovely. So being nominated as Nurse of the Year, people are looking at you as a rather a two-edged sword here, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it is an honor. It's very humbling. I think I took for granted over the years just being involved in the ceremony and knowing the nurses that were chosen. But I do appreciate being recognized, and I will continue on trying to be that role model and doing what's in the best interest for the nursing profession as well as nursing in general.
There are those who feel that in nominating heroes of Bermuda, someone should propose the name of Gladys Morrell, the Somerset lady who led the suffragette campaign until women got the vote in 1944. She will be one of the women warriors recognized by journalist Meredith Eben when she gives her presentation at the Pachacucha event on Thursday night at the Vasco da Gama Club on Reed Street.
I'm doing Women and the Vote. It's titled Women Warriors, but May is the 71st anniversary of the women's suffrage bill becoming law. So I just thought I'd look at the people who were responsible for this law coming into being.
And some of the great anecdotes.
I hope I have time for anecdotes. You don't have a lot of time. It's more like introducing people, but introducing people to these figures who almost have been receded in history. But there are some great. There's Morrill, who was the the leading light, but there's also Dr. Eustace Cann, who was actually changed his mind and voted in favor of women's suffrage.
Was it a casting vote?
It wasn't a casting vote, but I think what happened, as they were voting, he encouraged people to change his mind and almost gave the speech of his life, apparently.
What a subject.
There's David Tucker, who was opposed to it, but he was also editor of the Recorder, and he says, well, if this passed, he actually attended the women's suffrage. They had a victory party at Trinity Hall, and he actually attended as well, even though he was opponent of women getting the vote. And he said he was going to have a bury the hatchet party. He was going to bury the hatchet by being at this party. So it's
Lovely history.
Yeah.
I'm always amused by the story in the Somerset end of things, where the lady used to do something wrong, and then she'd be fined in court.
Well, the auctions,
and then have auctions to pay for it.
That's right. Well, Somerset figures quite large in this story, because Dr. Cann was from Somerset, Morrill was from Somerset, Alice Scott was from Somerset. So they actually, it's a prominent place they had in this story.
With all this talk about royal babies, it is appropriate that we have been celebrating the International Day of the Midwife this week. Yes, the Duchess did have the help of a midwife during her 11-hour stay in hospital, but here in Bermuda, the maternity ward suggests a 48-hour stay might be more advantageous. We spoke to Janet Whelan, clinical manager for maternity, and asked her if Bermuda had a reason to be proud of its midwives.
Yes, we do. We have very good antenatal care. We've got great care from beginning of pregnancy through till after childbirth.
And the numbers?
We had 559 births last year.
And to look after them, how many nurses, how many midwives?
We have 23 midwives that work on the floor.
Now, they don't work here all the time. There's a certain mobility to this, isn't there?
Those are the ones that are on work on maternity, yes. So that would be antenatal, intrapartum and postpartum.
And after
yes, they have postpartum would be care while they're in the hospital, and then there's a community health nurse that will see them when they are discharged at home. They're followed up at home.
Now, they mention figures like 1 in 7 child dies in some of the I would say African countries, and also in Sweden it's 1 in 80,000. That's a wonderful, horrific comparison. How do we do?
We do very well. Our statistics are extremely low for maternal neonatal morbidity and mortality.
Has it always been that way?
Yes, because we have excellent access to antenatal care, and that's the big point we want to make. If women get access to antenatal care, they're going to have much better outcomes. So in these countries that you're talking about where the statistics are extremely poor, it's because they haven't got access to midwives or any sort of health care.
Did the Duchess have a midwife?
Yes, she did. Apparently she had 2 midwives present for her birth, yes. So she went in just a couple of hours, 2.5 hours before she had her baby, and when she'd given birth she went home 6 or 8 hours later, so yeah.
Is that unusual?
Not particularly in developed countries. That's not unusual at all, especially in a midwifery-led service. Quite often they go home quite quickly.
Now, you have a very proud profession. It's been around for a long time.
Yes, we have. Been a very long time.
And now we move from midwifery to sports with Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
In their third ICC Americas Division I 2020 World Cup qualifying game in Indianapolis, Bermuda picked up their first win. It came against Suriname. Suriname won the toss and sent Bermuda to bat. Bermuda scored 142 for 2 with David Hemp the top scorer on 72 not out, while captain Gennaro Tucker added 43 not out. In reply, Bermuda bowled Suriname all out for 55 with Dion Stovall, Joshua Gilbert and Jacoby Robinson all grabbing 2 wickets each. Meanwhile, Saltus Grammar School defeated Sand Secondary Middle School in the finals of the Bermuda School Sports Federation's Middle School Girls Super 8 Cricket Tournament at the National Sports Center. Saltus batted first and scored 81 runs in their allotted 7 overs with Leilani Nisbet, the top scorer, on 23 not out. Sands fell 2 runs short of their reply with Trinea Edwards and Josiah Smith scoring 20 runs each. Bermuda's lone 2012 Para-Olympian Jessica Lewis began her 2015 competitive year in Australia back in January. After being present during the unveiling of the Paralympic Petal at City Hall on Monday, she jetted out of Bermuda with a big year ahead.
So we have the Para-Pan Am, which is in Toronto in August, and then we have World Championships in Qatar in October. So those are pretty much the main goals for me this year. And I'll be going to Switzerland at the end of this month for a couple races, and then we go to a different place every weekend in June, so that's going to be a very busy month, all over the States and Canada, and then gearing up for Para-Pan Am Games.
Now that's a big one. You've already competed at the Olympics, which is, I don't think there's anything bigger than that.
Yeah.
But what are you expecting from yourself come July, August in Toronto?
I'm hoping to be on the podium. It'll be amazing to be there. Training really hard and just hoping to get there and do my best. Yeah.
Now this brand new bike obviously makes you feel a lot faster.
Yeah.
The fact that you now have it and you've gotten a chance to get a feel for it, it's a little longer, obviously a little heavier.
Yeah.
What adjustments are you making in order to allow yourself to be faster on the track?
So just getting used to the weight of it and being sure that I put in all the power that I can every stroke to make it go faster and just keep it moving. Yeah.
The Bermuda International Invitational IOD Regatta continued on the waters of the Great Sound yesterday. Henry Arnold leads the A-Series fleet with 6 net points, while Pierre Crosby is in second with 8 points. Peter Wickwire holds the third spot with 9 points. Overall, Crosby leads with 12 points, Wickwire is in second with 14 points, and Arnold is in third with 15 points. The elite of British and European rugby are once again bound for Bermuda to share their skills with the island's youngsters and local community. This year, 30 members of the Harlequins first team squad will return to Bermuda on June 1st for a week of school visits, coaching workshops, and fundraising activities. Harlequins have a rich heritage in rugby in the UK and abroad. For almost a century and a half, the club has contributed generously to the development of the game both on and off the pitch. The players are planning to visit a number of local schools to provide an introduction to rugby and to speak to Bermuda school children about how sport in general instills leadership, teamwork, courage, sportsmanship, and respect. The NJCAA Women's Tennis National Championships continued with Tyler Smith, ranked number 1 in the Flight 3 singles, advancing to the semifinals. She defeated her quarterfinals opponent, Janice Tolbert, who is the number 8 seed, in straight sets 6-3, 6-1. Smith teamed up with Mingxing Da to make up the number 1 seeds in the doubles Flight 2 division, where they advanced to the semifinals in straight sets 6-love over Lauren Schillens and Logan Williams. The Bermuda Netball Association's 2015 Summer League season got underway at Bernard Park last evening with a triple header. Amali Smith scored 16 goals to lead Squad 1 to a 29-11 victory over Family. Inshanae Smith added 13 goals for the winners. Nakia Webb scored 7 goals for Family, who also got 3 goals from Rose Saunders and 2 from Monique White. In other matches, the PHC Lady Zebras defeated Squad 2 16-15, and the BUT Teachers defeated BAC 21-18. Huddersfield Town announced their awards for the 2014-15 championship season, with top scorer Naki Wells winning the Golden Boot Award. Wells netted 11 league goals and 14 in all competitions for Town during his first full season. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Thursday, May the 7th, there will be sunny breaks with a shower or two. Winds will be east-southeasterly and light. We're expecting a high near 73 and a low near 66. This weather forecast is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Wednesday, May the 6th. I'm Charles Webb.